Welcome to the Film and Roll Up and Associates Municipal Market Update for the week of August 3rd, 2020. My name is Adam Bauer, and I serve as CEO and President of Film and Roll Up and Associates. We first want to share with you the historical MMD yield curve and how it's changed over time, or the range of rates we've had over time. We show you the 1 through 30-year maturities, and the tan bars show you the gap or the difference in what each one of those maturities has had for their MMD. So for example, the 1 year has been almost as high as 4%, but as low as where it's at now, 0.11. The red line represents where interest rates were for the MMD on 7/31/2020. Hopefully what you're noticing is that red line is near the bottom of those tan bars. That's signaling that we're at near historic lows in almost every maturity. Since we've last spoke 2 weeks ago, the 1 year has declined a bit, and the 30-year has just very slightly declined. I want to show you what I consider an interesting trend here. Is you see very small increases year over year. And if you go to years 27, 28, 29, you basically see a 1 year or a 1 basis point increase every year. So very small from 1 year to the next. But then you go from year 29 through 30, and you see an 11 basis point increase. So for investors, you're saying the difference between a 28 and a 29 maturity, very little to them. But the difference between a 29-year maturity and a 30-year maturity, there is a difference there. This will be a trend that will be good for us to continue to monitor and see if it continues. On the next slide, what we're showing is how the 10-year Treasury and the 10-year MMD have compared to each other going back to 7/31/2019. We've talked a bit about the sell everything rally in March, where treasuries actually declined, but municipals actually saw an increase in rates. So that's the widest point. But since then, you continue to see 10-year treasury go lower to some degree or stay low. And then you see the MMD for the 10-year also decline and decline in much greater fashion. And that gap has continued to get narrower and narrower between MMD and treasuries. On slide 4, we show the monthly flow into municipal bond funds. If we have a green line on here, that means money is flowing into the municipal bond funds. If it's a red line, that means money is flowing out. And so with the exception of what we saw in March, we've continued to see money flowing into the municipal bond funds. This is good. This is our demand. So as this continues, if investors continue to put money into municipal bond funds, we should continue to see pressure on interest rates, being pressure keeping them low, unless we have a large amount of supply coming that will counterbalance the demand pressure on bonds. And on the next slide, we show what municipal bonds are coming to market, or the amount of municipal bonds that are coming to market over this next week and what has recently come. If you look at this week, 8/3/2020, we have just a little bit more supply than we have for most of the year. So we're just a little bit above that green dotted line. So nothing that large amount of investors that have shown interest in municipal bonds by putting their money into municipal bond funds should not be able to absorb without seeing interest rates increase for these reasons. They can increase for a lot of other reasons, but as far as that supply-demand equation, we have a lot of demand and the supply is very manageable. We're showing you the economic calendar here, and these are data points that should be monitored, and if they come in differently than expected, could have a significant impact on the municipal bond market. So it is considered a pretty busy week as far as market data. So this would be an important week to just kind of monitor how each one of these items comes in when it's reported. Now, I'll be in front of you with a municipal market update on August 17th, but if you have any questions in the meantime, we have the Film and Roll Up and Associates Registered Municipal Advisors listed here with the contact information. And if you need any details on anything I talked about or any kind of follow-up, I encourage you to reach out to any one of them. But in the meantime, thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking with you in 2 weeks.